Hello. Hi, Charles. Can you hear me? I see your microphone is not connected. So right now I may not be able to hear. If you if that's an issue, maybe try to reconnect or maybe using another device. Hello. Hi. Hi, Victory. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Yeah, sure. If right now I see that you there's no your speaker is not connected. Hello? Can you guys hear? Hello? Hello?
Morning.
Hi, good morning. Hi. So, oh,
Good
okay.
morning.
All right. Good morning. Can you guys
Morning,
hear
everyone.
now? Okay. All
Can
right.
you hear
Great.
me?
All right. Good morning. Yes. Yes. Okay. I think it take a couple of minutes for you to connect and show.
Very sure.
Okay.
What's
So, yeah. So let's have I guess a quick share of wins this weekend, if that's all right. So Victor, you like to start?
yeah. Hi everyone. So I think wins. First I would say geez. Okay, one was a family thing. My mom was sick for about 2 weeks now, and I had to basically go babysit. Well, basically take care of her because my sisters were not available, and she basically got way better on Thursday, Friday. So I was able to go back home on Saturday. So win on that side was she feels better, which is great news. Another win was the beverage drink. I think I've talked about that in the past. The drink we do sell, we're able to get it into another shop in Cape Town. That's like the
Okay.
second shop we're able to get it
Okay.
in, which was quite cool. It was at a shop close to a bus station.
Uh-huh.
So that was exciting. I was
Okay.
able to also struggle through the code, which I'm still struggling with, but at least I'm struggling forward.
Okay. All right. Great. Great. Thanks. All right. So how about Herman? Any wins this weekend you like to share?
Yeah, actually wrote some code on Friday. That was quite nice. That
Oh,
was for
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
It was for one of the other final year project students. He's basically cleaning up what Miguel did in terms of the spatial PubSub, and there was some information had to be communicated from the Minecraft server. So I quickly wrote that for him. So and that worked. So that was quite nice. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Thanks.
Making
Or
making
how
my
about
hands
Shao?
dirty.
How about you like to share maybe a quick win from the weekend?
Okay, so personal win, I met a guitarist and a vocalist who want to jam with me, which is cool.
Okay. Nice.
And I guess I've learned the power of hindsight.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just writing my report, like it's actually amazing putting things into words, how much more clear your thoughts, your understanding becomes.
Ah, I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I could see it as a loss for like, oh, I was so dumb when I decided to do A, B, and C, but I'm going to see it as a win because I can now say that I understand now why A, B, and C wasn't
Oh, that's
the
great.
best
That's great.
choice,
Yeah.
right?
Reflection.
As
That's
I was learning.
that's a
Yeah.
learning. Yes, that definitely is a gain. All right. Thanks for sharing. So I mean journaling also helps, like writing that, just journaling, writing that down helps a lot. Yeah. All right. So I'll also share a quick personal win. This weekend, attended some learning event and learned that sometimes the people who are kind of, I don't know how to say, like some people may be a bit overprotective of themselves, try to and kind of like a bit pushy. That's actually they have something, they might have something that they need to protect or was hurt in the past, something like that. So I guess try to understand that better or give a better context and be more understanding of why they're doing that. So don't always react to someone if they don't behave behave well. There could be a reason behind. Okay. So I think that's something I learned, and yeah, that's been helpful. All right, so Victory, maybe you can start with our sync.
Okay. I just
Okay, all
wanna
right, go ahead.
move this thing to the right tabs. Share screen, share screen, share screen. All right. So at the moment, I'm not at my computer, and I think there was load shedding, so I
Mhm.
can't remotely connect to my computer because I think the power went out. But let me just see if I can try to. I've been playing around with it. Okay, let me just go to the sync. So Shao, we're not able to meet on, was it Thursday? Actually, the idea was I was going to try to struggle over the weekend and try to reach out to him on Sunday. But then again, I was struggling. I think struggle is a very important word. But it was the good kind of struggling because at the same time, I also wanted to get to understand JavaScript itself. And the idea is by solving all these minor little things, the hope is after 2 weeks of struggling, maybe now I'm a guru at JavaScript coding. But I will reach out to Shao definitely once I have something more concrete. But I did make some progress in terms of just, for example, like the socket.io, installing like dependencies and stuff like that. I didn't know about those in the past. Yeah, I was able to get that sorted, but then that sort of brings new errors, and yeah, it's a whole spiral. But that's that. With regards to the shortlisted candidates,
Okay.
there's not a lot of great news there. So 3 of them, one was like, I'm a student and he can't do the task because he can only do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So when he says JavaScript, I think he's talking about the front end JavaScript and not necessarily like a Node.js type of JavaScript. So basically that's the one. The other one was like they would send it before Monday because he wanted a bit of extra time. But it's Monday and still nothing on that.
Okay.
And also, yeah, basically, oh yeah, this was gonna send before, I think tomorrow, like a day, wanted an extra day, and this one wanted to submit before Monday. But I don't know, maybe it's the test is too difficult, or maybe they're struggling. I'm not really sure if I should follow up on that in terms of if they're struggling with the code or something like that.
Okay.
But
All right.
that's on that.
How many assignments did you give out?
No, just the
How many people?
to three.
Oh,
People.
just 3. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the shortlisted ones.
Okay.
Should I send to everyone?
No, not everyone. It should have
Okay.
been maybe 5, Remember I told you about the backup?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
but
Sorry, I
anyway,
think I missed
okay.
that. Sorry
Anyway,
about that.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
But I'll follow up on that. I
But that
didn't
is a
know.
learning. That is a learning. I mean, you should have
Oh,
some,
okay.
yeah. All right. So I think okay, so either we can wait or we can just hire right away. I think that's what we can discuss. Actually, what does the assignment think? So the assignments haven't come back.
I mean, yeah, if they asked, Like I considered saying, okay, let's see what happens by tomorrow. If they haven't submitted anything by tomorrow, then it's clear that that they just they will not be able to do it. But yeah, I do see it's
Okay.
important to give people assignments. It weeds out the less suitable candidates. Yeah, so my feeling would be to see if they maybe still submit it on by tomorrow. That's
Okay,
actually
I
my
see.
feeling.
To
Yeah.
wait for at least the first assignment to come back, right?
Well, or give them until tomorrow to keep to submit, because the one asked
Okay.
for extra time and the one said by Monday, I think. So
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically just follow, I think. All right, okay.
Okay.
but yeah, it would have
Should I
been
still-
nice if they had submitted it. Well, what you can do is you can send them a gentle reminder. That's what we usually do for reviewers. You just say, just a gentle reminder. We're expecting the short assignment back, and then yeah. So that's kind of like, hey, you said you'd give it to us, and we noticed you didn't. So please let us know
Right,
what's
right.
going on.
Okay. All right, okay.
I can also reach out to the other two. The thing is, I remember 3 shortlisted names that were highlighted in red. But let's just
Okay.
leave. But I didn't know about the backup. But I can also send the backup names as well.
Right, I think we probably should do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So continue.
All right. So with regards to the pseudocode for forwarding, so I think I tried to I made one small or big tweak. So I don't know if you remember, one of the things we talked about was like having a basic request format for all types of requests, whether it's a pub, sub, and sub. There's the standard request. And then when there's forwarding involved, the idea is to include like a neighbor list, which I think in the past we called it, or I called it like a blacklist, where we're saying, okay, include all of this, but with what do you call it? With a source neighbor list, or basically like the neighbor around the neighbors around the source. Now, the challenge with this though now is when it's sending the messages, it's going to send everything, which might not necessarily be efficient, but this is more of a short-term solution. And the idea is in the future, this basic request can be broken down into 2, where maybe there's like a ping, for example, first before you forward the request or before you send the full thing. Maybe you're just checking, where to send to first before actually including the request and everything. But for now, the idea is there's a placeholder for the basic request, and then there's a source or neighbor list, or basically where the message is coming from, who are its neighbors. You add it in the list or restores it in an array. And then what basically changes is that request is sent to all its neighbors, right? You send the request to all its neighbors, the forwarding request now. And the idea is when the matcher receives this request, it checks the list first, right? And it's basically saying that if the destination node distance to the neighbor, okay, now I know this English might look a bit complex, but the idea is I want to check that list, then I want to understand what the distance is from the source, and then the idea is when I want to, before I forward to the next guy or to the next person, I want to check, was the source closer to that person, or am I closer to that person or that matcher? And if I am closer, then I should send. And if the source is closer to that matcher, then I shouldn't send, because chances are that has already sent the message to that node in the first place. Now, as to its efficacy, or if it's actually gonna how in terms of the packet losses or redundancies, now I think there would need to be like, that's where the check will come in now, as to where the software is being developed for simulation. That will be sort of tested to see, okay, how many times these messages were repeated, and basically understanding why, if it works or if it doesn't work, really. But in
So
theory,
that-
I think Sorry.
So that's pseudocode you showed. That's now the check on when a matcher receives the message from the client. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
the matcher neighbor overlap check, it basically asks the, because it can get the list of its neighbors from the Von peer. So that basically just checks if the publication or the subscription check also overlaps with any
Mm.
of its peers, essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
so so this one is a bit tricky, really. And maybe because I'm also not visual, I will have to draw some stuff again. Maybe because it's been a
yes,
while since yeah.
I mean, I think Charles has looked at this a bit. I seem to remember that yes, you can. The Von peer will give you this information about your neighbors and your neighbors' locations. I'm not 100% sure if the Von peer also gives you the areas of your neighbors. I think it does, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, Charles, if you have any wisdom there.
Okay, so so this is part of the hindsight. So because I basically rebuilt Miguel's stuff from the ground up, like I basically only took the Von peer and then I built everything around a Von peer. So the VSO, like the my matches aren't as my matches aren't directly aware of their neighbors or their neighbor regions or anything like that. What
Okay.
I did is I extended Von peer to accept any arbitrary message that it will forward to. So the matchers don't know who their neighbors are. All that they do is anytime that they get a publication or a subscription or anything that they need to send to an area, they immediately they make a special type of packet that they then give to the Von peer, and the Von peer handles all of the spatial forwarding and all that. And when a Von peer receives one of those packets, it just passes it back up to its matcher. So my matches, in my implementation, the matches aren't the entities that decide who to forward it to. The Von peer does that.
But the Von peer does have the information.
Oh yes, no, the Von peer knows. So it doesn't have the complete region of its neighbors, obviously, because well, it's not its enclosing boundary neighbors. Obviously, it doesn't have the full region for its boundary neighbors, but it doesn't need that. It just checks, okay, if there are any corners from that region within this AOI, then I know that, it's overlapping. Another big thing that sorry, I'm struggling to just put my thoughts into words.
Okay.
An important distinction to make between what I do and what is explained by Varrocast is, and I'm not sure, Victory, what makes a matcher eligible for forwarding? Must its site be within your area of interest, or must only its region sort of be within it? Because with Varrocast, it was built so that only peers that are actually where the peers themselves are within the AOI, only those get those messages, because the corresponding sites are within. But with my implementation, because the clients aren't a part of Von anymore, the matches are. So there could be a client within the AOI that is under the jurisdiction of a matcher whose site is not. So what my algorithm does is any region that has a corner or an edge within the AOI, they should receive that message.
Mhm.
So that if they have clients within the AOI, they can give it to those clients.
Okay. What Sean described actually is the proper way, I think, to do this. I guess, okay, so Victory, can you see what Sean was, I mean, the distinction made? Which is, okay. So Victory, I mean, I guess is it clear that what Sean was saying, or it's kind of fuzzy?
Kind of
Yeah,
fuzzy to
no,
me.
it's a
Okay,
bit
okay,
fuzzy.
all
Yeah,
right,
I'm trying
okay,
to.
all right. Also,
Yeah.
all right. Let me try to rephrase. It's
Okay.
the first thing. I think this has to be noted first. Is that Vong, okay, or something like Borrowcast, actually it works at the overlay layer.
Mm.
Okay, the
Yes.
main purpose is to basically form a overlay with connected peer-to-peer network, okay, and allows message be forwarded with Borrowcast, for example, in basically make sure if the message is intended for a larger area, right, then it actually gets forwarded to all the relevant nodes that need to see it. Okay, so I like to make a distinction between the overlay layer, okay, which is basically building and forming the peer-to-peer network, versus something like what a matcher does in terms of doing pub/sub matching. Okay, because matching publication with subscriptions, that is actually a sort of a higher level function, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that without an overlay layer, right? And that would be purely client server. Okay, and when what we're trying to do is decentralize that, right? We want to decentralize the pub/sub matching. So this is where we added the overlay sort of beneath the pub/sub matching, which is what the matcher does. Okay. So also to feedback to Sean, Sean, is that the what you have done actually is in my view, actually that would be the more proper way to make the distinction between the the matcher, because I mean, matcher now it actually acts in a client server fashion with the clients that it tries to serve.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Right. So
Yeah.
in that sense, the matcher doesn't have to necessarily be overlapping with the specific pub/sub request. Okay. And it can simply forward that to the relevant matcher for additional processing. I don't know if that makes sense, because I think that's what you were trying to say, right? That,
Yeah.
I mean, the matcher that the client connects to, it may or may not manage the region, okay, in which the client publish or subscribe to.
Yes,
right? I think that's what you were trying to say, right? Is that correct?
So
Wait, sorry, can you please repeat that?
Basically, okay, for a matcher, okay, it may or matcher has a region, right, of which it it performs its duty, right? It may or may not overlap with a client's request.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right, okay, of a specific publish or subscribe. A client potentially can subscribe to some area that is beyond, maybe far away from the particular matcher it connects to. Okay.
So
go ahead.
So basically, the way the way we have a unique matcher that is the primary, call it, authority on how to process a publication or a subscription, is each publication area or subscription area has a location, or I think Charles called it a site. And that site must, or that location must fall within that matcher's area. And then, yes, the area might overlap with more than one matcher's areas, but the first point of deciding what to do with it should be the matcher in whose location that the publication's location falls.
Right, right. That's right. That's right.
Okay,
So to clarify, site was actually a terminology reserved for Voronoi building.
that's
Okay,
what I thought, yeah.
right. So I think maybe we should use another term for that. Such as maybe the pub sub area. And actually, AOI would suffice for that purpose because AOI defines both a coordinate and also radius. Okay, so it could be just in an area. All right. So I'd like to know is Victory following so far?
No, I am following. I'm trying to maybe I think where I'm getting stuck is actually the partitioning part.
Okay.
The partitioning, does it occur with the matches, or does it? From what I gathered, the original design was each node is partitioned using what's the word now? Each of the peers are the Voronoi partitions the peers, and I think the idea was doing it such that the partitioning occurs with the matches, and the matches simply have some form of I don't know, cluster management of some sort.
Okay, all right. So for a matcher, it has to manage a specific region. Okay.
Okay.
And that is something that it can obtain or even sort of delegate to the underlying overlay management component, which is what VAN or Vorocast does.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
For example, although it manages the partition, it may not need to contain the actual code. For example, to check if if an area or a point lies within its partition, it can actually ask the VAN layer, for example, or if it has the to whether the point or an area overlaps with its region. You see?
Okay.
I mean, that is something a matcher can actually cause. Okay. But and it can maybe assume that there's already a module that does that for it. Okay. But the matcher does need to maintain a list of subscribers. Okay.
Yes.
And then do the pub sub matching at its that is its logic and its data structure to manage. You see.
So there's two questions basically that needs to be answered. The first question is which matchers need to get the message, right? And that you can answer independently of whatever forwarding mechanism is being used.
Yes.
And then once you have the answer to which matchers should get this, I mean, imagine you have something which has got global knowledge of the system, then that thing could decide these are the matchers that need to get this message. And then the question is, okay, but how the forwarding algorithm is how is the message passed along so that all the correct matchers actually do get the message that they need to process. You understand the distinction between those two?
Okay. So there's the one with the standard PubSub process, like a local PubSub subscription, and how the matcher handles that, right? And then there is the matchers distributed in a site or in a space, and how messages are forwarded or sent from matcher to matcher.
Well,
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, precisely. So a client will be sending a message to its matcher, and then that matcher will need to do something so that all the correct matchers which need to process that message, either by adding a subscription or doing a matching so that all the subscribers can get that publication, so that all those matchers can get the message, but that's so that they can do the matcher processing. And then apart from that, you're like, okay, a matcher now has a message. It knows that, or it needs to figure out to whom does it need to send the message so that the right matchers do actually get the message. How they process it, it's their concern.
Okay. But for now, then the Vaughn partitioning just occurs with the peers.
The Vaughn partitioning. Okay, so the way you can think about it is that clients are actually not connected to the Voronoi overlay network. They're only directly connected to the matcher in its own region, and the clients just need to get some information as to who are the right matcher to connect. So when they join via gateway, the gateway will tell them, oh, this is the right matcher you need to connect, or it will start some process that will allow the client to connect to the right matcher. It's actually only the matchers in our architecture who form a Voronoi overlay network so that they can send messages to each other.
Okay.
I mean, that's a design
Awesome.
decision that we made a while back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Victory, maybe to plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
And I will definitely listen to this again. I should even note it down somewhere. Let's see. I couldn't meet with Raghav over the weekend. I don't know what happened, or just he didn't join our session.
Okay. All right. I think
And I'll follow up with
that's quick update. Josh may or may not continue. Okay. He's still trying
Okay.
to wait out given his current condition. So
Okay.
I'd say that since we now have some potential interns and also, are very capable, Sean. So I say just continue with the current people. All right.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I'd like to mention that maybe ask the candidates to just submit a video by the deadline. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Whatever they got, it's fine. They don't have to, even if they don't finish it, just show us the process, their logic, because they could be stuck somewhere, but just try to show what has been done. That's enough. Okay, they don't
Okay.
have to do it perfect. They don't have to necessarily finish it. Just send a video explaining what they've done so far. Okay,
Okay.
I think that is a lot more useful for us than asking them to complete the assignment. Okay, that makes sense?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All right, so then just plan ahead.
Sorry, I just have to rewatch this video again.
Okay. Oh yeah, by the way, so can I ask Charles,
Yeah.
is PubSub already supported at your implementation?
Yeah.
It's supported and on top of the forwarding.
Yes.
Okay, so I can subscribe
Oh,
to,
nice.
let's say, a faraway area and
Yes.
publish, and that should work.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been verified as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right.
I must say though, my current implementation, so clients need to remain within like a single.
Ah, I
My
see. Okay.
client
There's
transfer
no
mechanism
handover.
isn't
There's-
very
Yes,
robust
yeah,
yet,
but-
so
I
I'm
see.
just
There's-
testing stationary matches with stationary
Okay.
clients.
That's fine.
but-
That's fine. That's fine.
But yes, distant publications and distant subscriptions is possible, and
Okay.
massive area. So yeah, massive publications and massive subscriptions also work.
Okay.
And then massive subscriptions and massive publications that have multiple similar overlaps.
Okay.
It doesn't result in redundant
Okay.
forwarding to the client. So the
Okay.
client
Nice.
only receives the message once, even
Okay.
if
Multiple
many
subscriptions.
matches are match that subscription.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Nice. All right. So yeah, Victory. I think the main task now is to simply have everyone be able to run Charles implementation and get a
Yeah.
hold on it and see
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
limits, what the issues are, and then to
Yes.
improve upon
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
All right. So is everything all right, Herman? You think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, yeah. Rewatch today's video.
Yeah, I have to.
All
Yeah.
right. So I think Victory. I guess just try to get it work, right? See
Mm.
if you can replicate what Sean has said.
Mm.
And yeah, and basically we should start with that and see what needs to continue on.
All right. Makes sense.
Okay, all right. So if nothing else, then maybe we'll sync tomorrow then. Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
So-
thanks everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.